but we're a pro-China podcast.
Oh, Jesus.
We are not about
Absolutely.
to get canceled. We're whatever stance YouTube is at the moment.
We bow down to our Chinese overlord.
Yeah.
An old East
Wings
Acres.
trailer is the place to be. Twitch streaming is the life for me. Waistband stretching out so far and tight. He'll keep your money and improve his double wide.
Oh my god. Oh, that is fucking good. That's actually pretty fucking clever.
That's what has happened, folks.
Fuck nigga, you get it. Oh, I'm booming and I'm talking shit.
I've outlined a little Bible tale for us. It's been a hot second.
Oh, I'd love that. What are you going to regale us with today, Taylor?
Are either of you familiar with the tale of Shadrach, Meshach, and
And
Abednego?
Abednego.
Wait, say it again.
Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. Yep,
Yes.
it's
Kyle does know it.
I went to church.
go to Daniel 3-6. Mr. and Mrs. Woody's parents. I dare you to find one thing wrong with this. One factoid wrong with this. Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, 3 Jews hanging out in the Old Testament. And this is one of the many times that the Jews or the state of Israel was just getting, or maybe Judah at the time, I don't fucking remember. They were just getting butt fucked by whatever powerful people there were at the time. There were the Babylonians, like Assyrians, like all throughout the ages. This was a Babylon time. And so they were under the thumb of King Nebuchadnezzar, the original Chad. And King Nebuchadnezzar he had his hanging gardens of Babylon. Like they were the most powerful empire in the world, in their known world at the time. And he had all this dope shit. And he had so much extra gold sitting around that he was like, you know, it would be tight. I'm going to build a 90-foot solid gold statue of like myself or some like guy who's kind of like me there, or some, you know, god. They don't even like really say what it was. And so he built some dope ass statue, gold, 60 cubits high and 6 cubits wide. And I looked that up. That's like 90 feet high and 9 feet wide. Like a cubit is apparently like 1.5 feet.
Okay.
So this is a lot of gold. It's a real flex on the rest of the world. And so he builds this, and he's so stoked on it that he invites all of his, I don't remember all the words, I read them down, all of his officials from the kingdom, governors, senators, satraps, I assume some kind of mayor, judges, treasurers, everybody from every corner of the Babylonian kingdom, all the high-ranking, you know, hullabaloo people show up. And they're like, you're right, King Nebuchadnezzar, this is really cool. And he's like, it doesn't stop here, guys. Anytime you hear music from, and I'll read this list, I'll just read what the town crier said. Nation and people of every language, this is what you are commanded to do. As soon as you hear the sound of the horn, flute, zither, lyre, harp, pipe, and all kinds of music, you must fall down and worship the image of the gold king Nebuchadnezzar. And so, first of all, pretty sure a lot of those instruments are made up. And so he sends all the governors and everybody back. They relay that same message. And Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, they weren't just like 3 random Jews walking around the street in like shitty ass sandals. They had like not the overruling part of a province, but they were like a couple levels down. They still had nice houses, nice shit. Like they weren't in poverty or anything. And pretty much immediately, as soon as this town crier said that, he added an addendum, which Nebuchadnezzar also instructed, where he's like, and make sure they also know anybody who doesn't bow down as soon as all these made up instruments start going, they're going to be brought back to me. They're going to be brought in front of me, and I'm going to burn them alive in a really cool big furnace I also made. And believe it or not, that was compelling to most people. That got them on board. And so as soon as they heard the zither and the lyre, boom, right down, like almost like Mecca. They're like, even if you can't see it from whatever province they're in, they're like, I'm not risking some ancient cop finding me and ratting me out. I'm aiming right there and praying to Nebuchadnezzar.
Right.
Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego say, fuck you. They don't say, fuck you. They say, no, thanks. No, thank you. Their overseer goes to King Nebuchadnezzar, goes, hey, Neb. Neb goes, don't call me that. He goes, I understand. He goes, King Nebuchadnezzar, these 3 Jews, they're not bowing down. Did you tell him about the furnace thing? Yes, I led with the furnace thing. Yes, of course I told you. Of course I led with it, you brilliant king. And so Nebuchadnezzar is like, okay, well, bring him to me. Bring them to me. As far as I can tell, they're doing a good job on paper, but if they're not going to do what I want, bring them here. So he brings them there, and he tells them, hey, and King Nebuchadnezzar is like in the opposite situation of like a rock and a hard place. He's between like tits and ass. No matter which way he goes, it's positive. If they show up and they say, I'm not bowing down, he gets a handful of tit, so to speak, where he gets to throw them in the furnace, burn them alive, and ensure that everybody's like, yeah, that bitch is not playing. He will burn you alive, bow. Or if they do what he wanted them to do, nice handful of ass, and they bow down, it's a little ego stroke where he's like, yeah, all it really took was them seeing me in my glory for them to bow down and do it.
All right.
And so they show up. He says, bow down, or you're going in the furnace. No other options. They say, I will not bow down. No, I'm not bowing down. No, that's not my God. I'm not bowing down to your false idol or whatever the fuck. And he goes like probably a little like kind of like happy about it, like, okay, time to break in the furnace. But he tells his furnace guy first, he goes, turn it up 7 times as hot as normal. And in my head, I'm thinking like Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego at this time were kind of relieved, where they're like, oh, he said 7. 7's one of those numbers that works out well. God, if he had said turn it up twice as hot, I would have shit myself. But 7, we should be okay. Thank God. And so Nebuchadnezzar, well, 7 is a biblical number. Like,
yeah,
it's all
you see it a lot.
Yeah. Things happen in 7s all the time in the Old Testament and in the New. And so Nebuchadnezzar wasn't just content with normal soldiers tying him up, because he's brought some of his governors and satraps and people to see this whole thing because he thinks it's cool. It is cool. And he brings out his most burly, ripped soldiers to tie up Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. And then he tells them, throw them in the fire. And he says that the fires were so hot that when they went to open the furnace to throw the 3 Jews in, that the men throwing them in themselves died. And so he wasted a bunch of juicy man muscle just in trying to get his point across, which I wouldn't have done. I would have used worthless soldiers, but what do I know? I'm no Neb. And so he throws them in there, and he's sitting on his cool gold throne, the extra gold that was left over from the statue, just kind of watching. And I guess there's a fucking window in this furnace that you can kind of see what's going on. And so after a couple minutes, he's like, what? I see. How many Jews do we? Shadrach, Meshach, Abednego. Was there another one? They got goofy ass names. Was there? There's 4 people standing in there right now. Well, don't take them out yet, because even if it is their God, maybe he'll run out of magic, and they'll eventually burn. You know, like maybe he can only stave off the flames for so long. So he leaves them in there a couple more minutes to simmer. Becomes clear God's not going to run out of magic, and so he goes, "Take those guys out of there. Take them out of there." And so he opens up the furnace. The three, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego come out totally unscathed. It says they don't even smell of fire.
Are they
They don't
naked?
even smell like they've been there. No, their clothes were fine too. And so they all come out, and all the governors, the satraps, everybody's there. They're looking. And so King Nebuchadnezzar has to pull a World War II Italy, where they switch sides and pretend they've been on that side the entire time. And so he goes, wow, your guys' God is really cool. I'm on board. You guys don't have to worship this statue. Everyone, we are keeping the statue. It looks awesome. We don't have to pray to it, but you're not getting, we're not getting rid of it. That's fine. You go in the furnace. You're not protected by their God. We're keeping the statue. Does anyone not want to keep the statue? We're keeping the fucking statue. And so he keeps the statue. And then also he's talking to Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego and being like, wow, your God's like legit real. My gold statue didn't do anything but shine brightly. And so he asks them about their God. They kind of have a little back and forth. And then because King Nebuchadnezzar still has to appear hardcore, he goes, all right, we're all following the Jewish God now. And anyone in my kingdom who questions the Jewish God, I will have you and your family cut to pieces and your homes razed to the ground. And everybody's like, 40 minutes ago we were talking about the statue. And so everybody unanimously is like, yeah, whatever you say, dude, we're all on board with the Jewish God. I don't want to get cut to pieces. And then to end it all, he gives Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego a raise and a promotion. So what did we learn?
Hopefully we're fireproof.
I was hoping for insight because I didn't learn anything. Nothing at all. You think that like one scribe or whatever prophet back in the day was writing that, and his scribe's like, this is very similar to David and the Lion's Den. He's like, no, it's not. No, it's not. Name 10 similarities.
Picking you up.
Woody.
Yeah, it's totally not it.
What?
That's not the mic you're using.
It
You sound awful. I think you're using your
too.
webcam mic right now.
You come to this gym again, I'll rape you.
fucking
Adopt a Chinese baby. That way, if you get tired of it.
Wait, Kyle might have a thing. Taylor, you could fast forward the whole schedule by adopting like a good 9-year-old, right? There must be one that slipped through the cracks. You could retire in your 40s if you just got 10-year-old kids.
You know what? If I go to China, I bet I could like go to the elite adoption school where like I get to pick out like the cream of the crop. They'll compete for me.
Rattling those abacuses. They'll be doing your taxes in 3 years.
And little Young Lee, he is gonna take care of me when I get old. Guaranteed.
You need to rename him.
Oh, thank you so much. You bring me to America. And it's like, God, I really should have like talked to you in English more often, Young Lee. Oh, it's all right. Oh, you're my favorite father. Send me to math camp.
Math camp.
Is it?
And behold,
Yes.
the white horse.
And
His
behold,
name
a
that sat upon him was dead.
having 7 heads and 10 horns, and upon his horns 10 crowns, and upon his heads the names of blasphemy. And the beast which I saw was like unto a leopard, and his feet were as the feet of a bear, and his mouth as the mouth of a lion. And the dragon gave him his power, and his seat, and great authority. Oh no, Camera 4 is on the news.
Are we ready?
Yeah, we're ready.
Thank God that they don't know 1 through 3.
Ready, set, play.
Look at him. He's like, I think maybe he had snuck a few of the shoes to the bathroom, maybe, but now he's like, oh yeah, that black boot.
He's on all fours, and he's looking through the shoes, looking for his favorite. Not any is good enough.
I like to think he's rating him based on smell.
Oh, I take this a home for later.
My thing is like, why you gotta stuff it? Like, if you were just carrying the shoes in the hallway,
Cause he's leaving with them.
okay.
He's gonna go fuck that fucking pair of Nikes, bro. Look at he came out with a hood on. Look at that hood.
It's a 4th pair of shoes you lose in school this week.
Hold on now. Are we even sure? Like, what's illegal about this?
Well, he stole the little girl's shoes.
He was borrowing those shoes. You know what? You're right. I don't know what
Like,
the legal
what
thing is,
exactly
but there
is
should be a legal precedent said, can we all agree? And then if everybody in the whole courtroom's kind of like, fucking weirdo, they're like, then it's settled. You know, what's reasonable for this? You know, he got to work at, you know, adult Foot Locker, train himself out of this fetish. Something. Anything. But yeah, I wouldn't want this man smelling my little boy or girl shoes.
We'll be watching your progress, Taylor.
I mean, I've said before, it's only a matter of time because we are not using anything other than the pull-out method. So really, this all is on my shoulders to be responsible at that in those last few seconds. So
I'm trying not to react.
No sentence, Taylor.
To me, you might as well have just said, well, I've been experimenting with black tar heroin. and I'm going to tell you, the thrill of sharing the needle with the guy I buy it from, whew, I mean, rolling the dice.
I mean, I'm rolling the dice all the time. So we'll see. Eventually, that house of cards will come crumbling down.
I would prefer that you were on black tar heroin.
Pull-out method is pretty effective if you actually pull. I think the reason the pull-out method fails is people don't pull out.
I hope you're sterile.
Oh, well, that's a terrible thing to
But he's
'Cause I
using it in
want
a good
children.
way. That's
I mean,
something
in a
that he'd
good way.
like to have himself, and thinks that you would enjoy it as much.
Yeah.
It's terrible.
That's coming from a completely selfish place. Don't worry. I was
No,
driving
we
today.
can't play video games together.
I swear to God, I was driving today and I was thinking like, yeah, in a year or two, I'll be able to go on another one of those cool vacations with Taylor. Unless he has fucking children.
Yeah.
You can't look at your wife while she's holding a little toddler in her hands and go, hey, I'm going on a smokecation with Kyle.
Ask
yeah, my
yourself, what
fellow
would
buddy.
Trump do?
Kyle,
You could do
she
anything.
would understand. She would understand because that is a work trip. Honey, I have to go to Colorado and get high with my friends.
Yeah, I love dogs. I absolutely love dogs. Hate cats. Hate
I'm not
cats. Like, I
changing
wouldn't
Not a
kill a
fan
cat.
either.
I wouldn't kill a
kill
cat just for the fun of it or anything.
Yeah, me either, mostly.
That's the level. That's the level of
Wow.
That's the amount I like a cat. Like, well, I wouldn't just kill you like an insect. Just starve. I'm like, I can't eat Taylor. Taylor gave me kibbles.
I haven't seen it yet, but my girlfriend swears. She's like, sometimes when they're playing, Teddy will start humping Fozzie. And I'm like, we will not have gay incest in this home. That's something we will not stand for. Oh,
That's called a
There's-
banana. Are you not familiar with this?
I am not.
One of my
Yellow on the
friends.
outside, white on the inside.
One of my friends is a
okay. I
banana.
should have guessed
Yeah.
that. Yeah. But anyway, she was like, oh, we got to take you guys out to like
Incredibly
a real
offensive when I think about
Chinese-
Not
Yeah,
to
it is a
him.
little-
I have a rice patty pass, so I'm okay.
Rice patty pass. Yeah. And so
Wings trailer is the place to be. Twitch streaming, it's the life for me. Waistband stretching out so far and tight. He'll keep your money and improve his double wide.
Mouth is dry, face is numb.
Nothing to it.
Places you want to see close up. How do you respond to a magazine totally dedicated to the life and times of sophisticated black readers like you? It's my career guide.